Also back to the Jubilee House, where our presidential affairs correspondent Elton Brobe is standing by with update on the official visit by the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. Elton, what more is happening now? We can see in our shot that the president is waiting. What's happening there?
So, Grace, the U.S. Vice President just arrived. A contingent of the armed forces currently playing the anthem of the United States of America. You can listen in.
So, as you can see, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, is standing by the wife, First Lady, and they are waiting the arrival of Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States of America. We understand she is at the Jubilee House now, but the national anthem of the United States is being played. And earlier we were told that she'll be inspecting a guard of honor, which will be in her honor. And then after that, the president will officially welcome her into the main house of the Jubilee House, where the interactions will begin. Elton gave us a brief as to the areas that they'll be focusing on, something that the U.S. Released earlier about what the areas of focus will be. So as you can see in the shots there, the Special Guard of Honor being, given to Her Excellency Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States of America, when anthem of the U.S. is being played. Now, after the national anthem of Ghana will also be played, and then the other inspections will happen. Then the president will welcome Elton. So we can see that the Guard of Honor is being given there. You are there, so kindly run us through exactly what is happening.
So the anthem of Ghana is being played as we speak, and after that, the U.S. Vice President will also to respect the Guard of Honor, which is being mounted by personnel from the Ghana Air Force. And then after, it will be also into the main building here at the Jubilee House. So the two national anthems are done. The commander who is supervising this parade is just about inviting the U.S. Vice President to come and inspect a guard of honor in her honor. And these are personnel drawn from the Ghana Air Force. Now, when that is done, the military part of the program will be over, and then the red carpet that has been laid beautifully for her will take us straight into the main entrance of the Jubilee House, where President Akufo-Addo, together with the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, and other top government officials are all waiting. Now, the first, assignment will be photographs will be taken by the two leaders, President Akufo-Addo and the U.S. Vice President. And then after, they will move into the ceremonial room. They describe this as it is going to be a brief welcome by President Akufo-Addo. They will exchange pleasantries. They will exchange some few words, and the media will be allowed into the ceremonial room to capture this. Now, when that is done, they will move out of the ceremonial, walk to the main auditorium, which is about 50 meters from the ceremonial room. This room is a bit bigger than the ceremonial room. Now, in this room, you will find personnel or top government officials from Ghana side and top government officials from the U.S. side. And then they will set the ball rolling in terms of the issues on the table to be discussed. Now, on your shot, for those who are watching this live on JoyNews, the U.S. President is now being taken to inspect the Guard of Honor. Now, at the auditorium, this is where they will have the face-to-face engagement. I'm told that about 15 from the Ghana side, 15 from the U.S. side. And the issues about democracy, about peace and security on the continent, about economic development, these are the key issues that they will discuss. And they will be signing some MOUs on the Ghana side and the U.S. side. Now, when they are done with this, the assumption is that they will come to some kind of agreement. The agreement is what they will be announcing to the media at the banquet hall, which is about 100 meters from the from the auditorium, and then the two leaders will speak to the media, and then they will take questions. My information is that they will take 6 questions, 3 from the U.S. media, 3 from the Ghanaian media, and then when that is done, that will bring to an end his first visit to the Jubilee House, but that will not be the end. At 7 p.m. back here, President Akufo-Addo is hosting a dinner in her honor. And the media is also invited to cover the opening of the dinner, after which the two leaders will sit down to have something to eat. And that will end her engagement with President Akufo-Addo. So the guard of honor inspection is done. The U.S. Vice President is now being ushered again to the days, and per the protocol, the national anthem of the U.S. and that of Ghana will play it again, and then we'll get down to business at the main ceremonial room of the Jubilee House.
Interesting. So that's by way of what's happening at the Jubilee House now. So Elton, we understand that aside the president, who are the other state dignitaries who are also there? Do we find some ministers there who will be part of this? Other MPs trooping in to take advantage of this great opportunity to meet the Vice President of the U.S.?
So this is quite a managed, highly invited individuals. And it is, so on the government side, I know that the president will lead the government delegation, and the vice president will also be there. The minister for finance, his name is on the list, but I'm not too sure whether he's in town. We have to come across him here at the Jubilee House. And there is also the Minister for National Security, the Acting Minister for Trade, the Minister of Information is also here, the Chief of Staff, and other personnel on the government. And these are top government officials that will be meeting. The U.S. Vice President also came with some, high-level personnel in the U.S., for government. Now, Ghana has its own issues that they want the United States to assist in dealing with. One of them will be a call from President Akufo-Addo to the U.S. Vice President to impress upon the Paris Club for them to grant Ghana's tax cancellation that Ghana has been proposing. One of the key conditions for Ghana attaining the IMF deal. And this is one point the President Akufo-Addo will be making. Also, Ghana finds itself in a region where the jihadist insurgents has become a matter of concern on a daily basis. And the fact that they are operating in Burkina Faso and other states that are so close to Ghana. Ghana's economic challenges and our strength in terms of military-wise may not be enough to counter the threat that these jihadist groups pose, especially to the entire Sahel region. And I'm sure President Akufo will make for the U.S. to assist in dealing with this particular matter on the Sahel region. The U.S. has already pledged support regarding that. But there will be a commitment on that front where for them to get into work. The U.S. government also has told it that they want to put across. One of them will be the respect for human rights. I don't know whether a position taken by the member of parliament, which finds is taken in a private member's motion against, LGBT. My provision, the U.S. will hammer on the need for government to respect the rights of people in that category. How that is pronounced, we are all waiting to get the details of it.
Well, so there you have it, the state visit of the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris to Ghana. The President of the Republic, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, is waiting for her to finish inspecting the Guard of Honor, and then the other processes will begin. You can see a well-attended event there. Our man Elton Brobe is still with us. He will be taking us through all that will be happening in the house this morning. We would ensure that you don't miss any bit of what is open to the public. Once it is opened to the public, you trust JoyNews to bring that to you. Elton Brobe is still with us from the ground.
So the inspection is over.
Okay.
So the military aspect of this exercise is done and dusted. The Director of State Protocol is the one leading the U.S. Vice President in the pink dress to the main entrance of the Jubilee House. And so for those who are watching JoyNews, the Director of State Protocol, together with some officials leading the way to the main entrance of the Jubilee House. President Akufo-Addo stands waiting to receive her, and then the photograph session will be the first item on the bill, and then straight up to the ceremonial room for the welcome address. While you're here, then as is custom with us, we also tell her the situation at home. So it is now, you can say that officially, the U.S. Vice President is in the hands of President Akufo-Addo, and the engagement is just starting.
Interesting. So there you have it. If you're watching us, you see the entourage entering the main house of Jubilee House, where the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, together with his the First Lady of the Republic, are waiting to welcome. So some exchanges of pleasantries now. The President is now shaking the hands of the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris there. Some exchanges going on between the two, with the First Lady of Ghana standing by and looking on. So the introduction to the Vice President of the U.S. there. The President has introduced the First Lady. So that is it now. Like Elton said, the Vice President of the U.S. is now in the hands of the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The first will be the taking of photographs, but obviously some exchanges of pleasantries there between the two. I can say the three, because it's the President, the Vice President of the U.S., and the wife, the First Lady of the Republic. So the President and the Vice President taking photographs there. Some very broad smile on the face of the President, so handshake there by the two people. Kamala Harris is the Vice President of the U.S., and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo being the President of the Republic. So the First Lady is joining in the photographs now, and then after here, the rest of the event will follow. You can watch this also on the myjoyonline.com platform, where this is also being streamed, as well as on social media. So the introduction of the Ghanaian party to the Vice President of the U.S. will begin now. I can see the officials from the Ghanaian side lined up. So the President is now doing the introduction of the officials there to the U.S. Vice President. So I can see in the shot now is the Chief of Staff, Fremosel Parry, who is now exchanging some words with the U.S. Vice President. After her is the Foreign Affairs Minister, and then I can see Nana Asante too also in there. The Vice President, the Minister of Finance, indeed, is in the shot there. So Elting was trying to lay hold of him. We can see him in the shot. The Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, is there. The National Security Minister is also amongst the people being introduced to the Vice President of the United States of America. I can see the Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwul, is also in there. He's exchanging pleasantries with the Vice President now. And then I can see Ambrose Derry, the Minister of Interior, is also part of the entourage, just exchanging pleasantries. So it's now the turn of Samuel Abu-Jinapo, Land and Natural Resources Minister. And then it goes on and on. I can see the Fisheries Minister also in there. Katie Hammond, the Minister of Trade, is also amongst the people who are being introduced to the Vice President. I can also see someone who looks like Amid Adam, the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry. And then I can confidently say that Dr. Kweku, the Minister for Environment, the Science and Technology and Innovation, is also part of the people being introduced. Kojo Nkrumah is the Minister for Information. He's also being introduced. So these are the government of Ghana entourage or team who are being introduced to the Vice President of the United States of America. So from this exchanges, then they will enter into that chamber where the two leaders will be having some tete-a-tete. We understand that the conversation will be over security, will be over deepening bilateral relations between Ghana and the United States of America. It would also be touching on the effort of Ghana to secure an IMF deal by April. So now it's the turn of the U.S. side. I can see the Ambassador Palmer there now exchanging pleasantries with the President Akufo-Addo. So quite a hearty encounter there between the team from Ghana and the team from the United States of America. Mind you, this is the state visit of Her Excellency Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States of America, to Ghana. It stems over several issues that will be taken care of as part of this particular visit. We understand there will be a visit to the Cape Coast. The Vice President will be visiting the Cape Coast Emintimaze Palace to interact exchange some pleasantries with the Omahini of Cape Coast. So that's how it's going to be. But you are assured that this is your dial for everything you would have to know on this visit by the U.S. Vice President to Ghana. So be with us 24/7 whilst we bring you this particular coverage like none other. Trust JoyNews, your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism, to bring you all that will be happening on this particular visit there. So in your short is still what is happening at the Jubilee House. I'm sure from here, from the scene on the screen now, the two leaders will be going into the chamber to have that interaction. And then after, like Elton gave us an earlier indication, they will be open to the media to then capture that particular meeting between the two leaders. But Elton is still with me. Elton, so after the leaders have finished introducing both parties to each other, what is next? We see them moving from where they were to another part of the Jubilee House. What is happening now? You are there.
So, Briggs, what is happening is that all of us have been ushered into the ceremonial room. It's a very small room, so not everybody is going to have access. But this is just the usual pleasantries of welcoming the U.S. President to Ghana formally, and to tell him how excited Ghana is having her here in the country. The U.S. President, the Vice President, will also extend similar courtesy to President Akufo. This is supposed to be a very brief, engagement, not going beyond 20 minutes. So clearly, the media, everybody has been asked to leave the ceremonial room now as we speak. So everybody is getting out. The only persons available in the ceremonial room, indeed, the U.S. Vice President, his entourage, and of course the government of Ghana delegation. So we have just stepped out of the ceremonial room and still coming to you live on JoyNews. So they're going to have a 20 minutes of engagement, after which they will just move to the auditorium. The auditorium is just 15 steps away from the ceremonial room, and then the real issues will get on the table for them to discuss and come to some understanding that will, culminate into an MOU, and then the media will now be told the discussion's outcome and the takeaways in terms of moving forward and actualizing them. So formally, you can say that the state visit is underway, and they are now getting to know each other. Then when we move to the auditorium, my information is that we'll have just 2 minutes of photograph session with the leaders before parties from both sides, Ghana and the US, will now settle into their chairs and then begin the formal engagement.
Interesting. Once we saw the finance minister there, it means that the IMF discussions will still be on the table there.
Of course, in fact, the information I've just picked whilst we were running commentary is that Finance Minister Kenneth Forrester is going to make a formal presentation during the engagement after the auditorium. This is where government officials from Ghana will pitch their proposals before the U.S. government with the expectation that they'll be able to convince them to act along. Already, there is some kind of understanding between the U.S. government and Ghana towards the need for the IMF to extend a hand of support to Ghana to revive the ailing economy as we have it. And the IMF they have their own conditions that one needs to satisfy. Even though the U.S. has a louder voice in terms of how the IMF deal with member, countries, the finance minister, I'm told, will now present outcome of this engagement with the Chinese authorities and Paris Club before the U.S. government officials and indeed Ghana government officials, and then a formal plea will be made, hopefully by President Akufo-Addo, for the U.S. to, escalate or get this done. Because the implications could be there if an IMF deal is not reached, at least before the end of March or April. So the finance minister is not what the funds to one leading Ghana's negotiation to have an agreement with our external creditors. 1.7 billion owed China, and they hold the key in getting other members of the Paris Club to say that we are going along with government of Ghana proposal to cancel our debt. If they have conditions, those conditions will be discussed. But the US has made it clear that Ghana requires support and is pleading with members of the Paris Club to extend that support to Ghana. This remains, from what I've picked from persons close to the fourth floor, the president's office. It's one of the key agenda the government is pushing. The U.S. government has security, human rights issues, and democracy as one of the concerns that will go. But government of Ghana position and the government of Ghana, main point as far as this bilateral discussion is concerned, is for the need for the U.S. to push harder for Ghana to get that IMF deal.
Elton, is that one of the events that is open to the media, where the finance minister will be making that formal presentation, so we get to hear the outcome of his engagement with the Chinese government, government, and then the Paris Club? Is that open to the media?
No, this will be held in camera, but we have an opportunity to ask questions, and that's what we'll do when the two leaders come to the banquet hall here at the Jubilee House for them to respond to the questions from the media.
Interesting. So in your shots now is the auditorium where the two leaders will be addressing the press after the in-chamber discussion between the two leaders, which is currently, what we understand, is happening. After that in-chamber discussion, which is, of course, like Elton said, is to welcome the U.S. Vice President to Ghana officially by the President, which will not last for more than 20 minutes. And then they will be here where you see in your shot, where the two leaders will be addressing the public through the cameras of the media. This is where we understand the media probably could be asking some questions, and then we could be getting some clarifications for you. So be with us as we bring you a very special coverage of the state visit of the U.S. Vice President to Ghana. Her Excellency Kamala Harris is in the country on a state visit. We understand per her itinerary she'll be visiting some other installations. For example, earlier Elton told us of a recording studio in the capital where she'll be interacting with creatives. And we even understand that actor Idris Elba is already in town as part of this engagement at that particular studio. As part of the visit, we also understand she'll be making a stop over to Cape Coast, where she'll be visiting the Emintimaze Palace, which is the official seat of the Paramount Chief of Cape Coast. And then she'll be visiting the castle as well. So that's how it's going to be. Stay with us as we bring you that outing. So as you are out there, what else is happening around the Jubilee House?
Well, it looks like everybody has returned to their various offices. So the bus that heralded entry to the Jubilee House is gone down. Now it's time for work. So those who have engagement to do are engaged. The media, some media representatives sitting in comfortably at the banquet, but that's the only thing we can wait. We do not know when the news conference will start, but I'm looking at beyond midday because my information is the bilateral discussion will take some time because of the key issues on the table. So those who are working on their stories have started working on their stories. As you can see, I'm just about entering one of the media rooms to also get out to work. So it's now a relaxed atmosphere here. The Ghana Armed Forces have been marched off. The meetings have started with President Akufo-Addo. The media, most of them are in the banquet hall, waiting for the two leaders to come in and address them. So we are all in waiting to hear what they will say, and that will be the outcome of the bilateral discussion.
So the point of focus for us will be the address at this hall after midday, when the bilateral discussions may have been over, and then the two leaders will be addressing the press. Is that it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so there you have it, is our coverage of the state visit of the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, to Ghana. Currently, as Elting has been giving us a brief, the two leaders are in chamber where the president is, they're exchanging pleasantries, and then after they'll be having that bilateral talk where the government of Ghana side will be making some presentations, especially on the outcome of the finance minister's engagement with the Paris Club, as well as the Chinese counterpart. And then, as we understand, a formal plea we made to the United States of America to help Ghana in its quest to secure that IMF deal by end of March, or possibly in the first week of April. So this is Joy News. We are your official eyes and mouthpiece of this state visit by the Vice President of the U.S. So stay with us as we bring you all that is happening at the Jubilee House and on this particular visit by Her Excellency Kamala Harris there. We would wrap up here for now, but we're still keeping our eyes on what's happening at the Jubilee House. Whenever we have the feed that is meant for the public, we'll bring you that so that you can also see what's happening. Especially, we can talk of that particular briefing of the public, and it will be happening on our Joy News today, likely. So stay with us here. There's more on our website, myjoyonline.com, and also this will be streaming live on our Facebook platform. So thanks for your company, but we'll still keep in touch with you. When we get some latest from the Jubilee House, we'll bring that to you. Stay with us.